Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
All right, we got our winner of the Maria's tickets. Brian and Kenzie here on Q101. We're about 6 minutes away from 8 o'clock where we'll get to Ticket Blitz Thursday. We launch it, Riot Fest, 3-day passes. How about that? Starts today and it'll go every hour. Boy, it's busy around here, and just, stay alert. We throw a lot of things at you, and on Q101.com you can follow along, but make sure you stay alert. We want to make sure you get these elite prizes going out all day today. So, before we move to that, today is a 20-year anniversary in Chicago, and this started months ago in the last 6 months, once 2004 hit, and I would say to Case and Kenzie, I go, I can't believe, that was 2004. That was 20 years ago. There's things in my brain, and maybe you're with me on this, that things from the pandemic, it screwed things up in your time analogy of everything. And I think some things are 7 years old and 9 years old.
Yeah.
This thing being 20 years old completely blows my mind that this was 20 years ago, and it's so tied into Q101 and being here in the station at Q101 and talking about it during the Eminem song. Kenzie obviously knows what it is and who it's about, but doesn't really know tons about it because it was 20 years ago.
I really don't. I remember hearing about it, and of course I know them. Okay, of course I know that.
Yeah.
But because I don't want to give anything away before you start talking about it, it wasn't as impactful for me. It's something that I've heard in passing about, and I haven't done a deep dive on it. So I'm kind of excited to learn a lot about it. So that's something I've had time to chisel out for. Let me go read about this. Let me sit down. So I'm actually excited to get the details of it because I've heard jokes and stuff made about this, right?
Sure.
Where I'm like, oh, I get what you mean, but not really.
Well, what it was 20 years ago today was the Dave Matthews Band tour bus dumping poop in the Chicago River on a tour boat underneath. Otherwise known as the Dave Matthews Band Chicago River Incident.
Is that what the Wikipedia says?
Wikipedia labels it an incident.
They paid a lot of money for that.
But for the poor people underneath, it was more than an incident.
Oh, my
So
God.
this hit real people. This, it wasn't this went on people?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And I'll just start and give you background, Kenzie.
Okay,
and
please.
And we'll go around because I'm sure a lot of people here just know of it, but don't remember.
Right.
I remember vividly Dave Matthews being in the studios of Q101 before this happened. Okay, and he did an interview, and we hung out. He's a very nice guy. He's
He
awesome.
was in high spirits, if you will.
He was, literally. So when you look at the background of it, they had booked hotels downtown at Peninsula, Dave Matthews, for a couple nights at Alpine Valley, where Case experienced a few weeks ago with Noah Khan and didn't see a show.
Yes, very fun.
These people saw a great show, a couple great shows. I say that I'm not ripping on Noah Khan. There was a tornado, and they canceled the show and moved it to September 11th, which Case can't go to now.
It's a bummer. They moved it to a Wednesday.
But
You should still go.
You made money. You made money back on that deal.
Well, I didn't make money. I got my money back.
I use girl math. That's making money.
Kidding.
Woo, super rich, Brian.
So the band booked 5 buses for its show. Stefan Wohl, remember that name? He drove the bus of the band's violinist, Boyd Tinsley, at the time. That was
Boyd Tinsley?
Boyd Tinsley.
Okay.
Who's no longer in the band anymore. That's a whole other side story.
These names. A lot of names going on here.
Sure. So that was his bus. Now, during the warm winter months, as they say here on Wikipedia, the Chicago Architecture Center, where my brother Steve works as a docent on these boats.
Yeah.
A docent is a tour guide, and they work for free. He had to take tests and beat out 90, 100 people to get a free thing.
So work for free?
Work for free because they do it because of the passion. That's the best boat tour, the CACs. They're the best because they literally grueling tests. Now, I'm not saying the other ones are bad. I'm just saying that the Chicago Architecture Center are the best boats.
Okay.
And you hope you get on boat with my brother Steve, because Case has been on that one.
I love it. My girlfriend and I had a really good time.
Yeah.
I got kicked off one.
That does not shock me.
Yeah.
How do you get kicked off an architecture boat tour boat?
I didn't have a bachelorette party, but all my friends came in town for my bridal shower.
Okay, so it sounds like a bachelorette party.
Basically. And I thought, which I should have known better because all my friends are hooligans. I thought it would be fun as a thank for. I bought everyone's ticket for the boat tour. Everyone's.
Yep.
They got so wasted and were so loud, they stopped the boat. We had to get off the boat.
How do you get off the boat? Did they make you jump into the water?
No, they stopped somewhere. They have extra ports, I guess. For these, I found out. I was like, come on.
They're by that lighthouse out in the middle of Lake Michigan. They go, girls, get off.
I was like shushing that. I felt like I was in 8th grade again when you go to a movie and your friends won't behave. You're like, I wanted to see this movie. I'm like, I'm the bride. I've never got to this tour before. I wanted to. Everyone's wasted. It wasn't a good idea. It was my fault.
I've never heard of people getting kicked off the bus before, or a boat before.
We got kicked off the boat.
Okay, so the Chicago Architecture Boat Tour has offered a boat tour of the buildings around the Chicago River, like they still do, and they have open roof seating. Most of Chicago's bridges, according to Wikipedia, which is true, are riveted grating, which is used for its strength and its anti-slip properties. Plus, the riveted grating allows rain, snow, and other liquids to pass through, so you don't have to make any kind of complicated draining system.
Yeah.
Turns out, before this, it was great. Before this event.
The greats were great.
The greats were awesome.
It was an awesome idea. No one could have predicted it.
No one saw this coming.
That what could have seeped through.
The guy who invented that grading system probably was like, I'm the smartest man in the world.
Yeah, no kidding.
Everyone's going to do this.
Until August 8th, 2004. When let's go back to the name of that driver. I'm not trying to put him on blast, but Stefan Wohl, that's his name, was the driver of the band's violinist. He was alone in Tinsley's bus. So I want to make clear that no band members were in the bus when this happened. Mm-hmm. And driving to that Peninsula Hotel, when he emptied the bus's backwater tank, the Blackwater tank, as it crossed the metal grates of the Kenzie Street Bridge. Now, that's
illegal, first off, correct?
Well, we'll find out later that it's actually not illegal.
Oh.
That created the conundrum of how to punish the band and punish the driver. But it was not illegal, even though anybody listening, do not do that. Do not do that. You shouldn't do that.
I thought you had to go to certain areas and facilities to do that.
Like truck stops or whatever. You can empty out the stuff.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately for the guy that invented those grates that are open, and the Dave Matthews Band, and Stefan Wohl, the driver of the bus, passenger boat Chicago's Little Lady was going through underneath right when he decided.
Hate crime on women.
Well, there are women and men on the boat, but the boat's just called the Little Lady. It was a 1 p.m. Chicago Architecture Foundation tour of the Chicago River. While passing under the bridge, the boat received I love this wording here of the actual police report, the full contents of the tank. Yikes. With the open roof terrace, roughly 2/3 of the 120 passengers aboard the tour boat were soaked.
Oh, my God.
And I just want to think about that. The boat immediately returned to dock, where all passengers were issued refunds.
That's fair.
That's why they're a good company. 5 passengers were taken to Northwestern Memorial Hospital down the road for testing. According to the Illinois Attorney General, passengers aboard included persons with, there were elderly people, there was a pregnant woman, there was kids. According to the filing from the police report, the liquid waste was brownish yellow in color and had a foul, offensive odor. Kenzie hates me talking about this stuff. I know, but
I'm gonna get sick.
These are the facts of the story. I won't continue. It goes along those lines.
Well, let me add this anecdote real quick. So Block Club Chicago, which is far and away the best outlet for local journalism there is, both in the city of Chicago and the surrounding burbs, they have a history of this day. They have a timeline of events that happened. And it turns out that on the boat was Brett McNeil, who at the time was a reporter for the Tribune. Yeah. So he gave his own account of the story.
He was on the boat?
He was on the boat, and he
said... That's what I call investigative reporting. Boots on the ground. No one works like they used to. No one.
This guy does.
So he said he sat towards the bow of the boat, and he didn't have a good view of what was happening to us. The docent didn't grasp what was happening in real time. The docent said,
No one could know what's happening.
So the docent said, I think we've been hit with some water. Then a passenger on the back of the boat said, quote, that's not water, buddy. That's urine.
Those poor people. Oh, my God. Which, by the way, I will say, since I mentioned my brother's a docent, I asked him about this yesterday. I said, can you get somebody from the Architecture Society to call up and talk about it? He goes, no one talks about it. They never mention it at all, the incident, maybe because they obviously don't want to talk about it. And maybe they try to block it out of their memory like Kenzie's probably trying to do right now.
Well, they say in this article...
traumatic. I can't even go on this tour now. I want to. I can't do it.
It hasn't happened again in 20 years.
I can't do it.
But a spokesperson for the Chicago Architecture Center gave a quote to Block Club. They said, there is certainly no joy in reliving the 2004 event that traumatized our passengers and crew.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, it's weird, right? Like, I can't find any newsreels of this event. We wanted to play some news audio. There's none of it that it exists. Also, as somebody that's not a particularly big Dave Matthews fan, this is my only memory of him. He could write The Next Stairway to Heaven. It wouldn't resonate with me at all. I can only think about him in the confines of this event.
I'm a big Dave Matthews Band fan, and this is also in the top 5 memories of him. I've seen him at Alpine Valley. I've seen him at Norley Island.
For him. He's like, I wasn't even on the bus.
Correct. He wasn't there. No one from the band was. And this guy, Mr. Wohl, he pleaded guilty to reckless conduct and discharging contaminants causing water pollution. So, Kenzie, to your point, it was technically illegal what he did. So
you can't just contaminate water with that. That's what I'm saying.
It was illegal what he did, but there was no exact crime for anybody that's ever done something like this before. So he was sentenced to 150 hours of community service, fined $10,000. I believe he got fired from the band. He gave to the Friends of the Chicago River, the environmental organization that we help out with when we help clean the river. He got 18 months probation. The Dave Matthews Band donated $50,000 to the Chicago Park District, $50,000 to the Friends of the Chicago River, and paid the state of Illinois $200,000 in a settlement. And then the Dave Matthews Band also agreed to keep a log for future reference when its buses empty their septic tanks in the future. So they still do that today.
What a weird job to have.
Can you believe?
I went to school for it. This was my major.
I mean, Dave Matthews, makes probably when he tours like $100 million a year because it's so packed. There's one guy that's responsible for logging the septic tanks now.
And listen, that's not one of their number one hires. we're not doing this again.
By the way, we haven't done the Ticket Blitz Thursday for Riot Fest. We're running a little late here because this is just a story that's fascinating and how it all happened. And it's the anniversary.
That is just what are the odds?
20 years since the Dave Matthews Band Chicago River incident. And once upon a time, there was a song written about it. Right after this song, 20 seconds here, we'll go ahead and we'll do the Riot Fest 3-day passes for Ticket Blitz Thursday.
Bus toilet is full. Let's grab the chain and pull. Bag it up, dump it here. There it goes down someone's ear. Push it off of the bridge. It landed on a boat. Hey, watch that poo-poo float. Ooh, crappy band. Got more waste than a sewage plant. Filling up, filling up, filling up. Our septic can. Don't look up at the street. You'll get a face full of pee. We're not satisfied until you're covered by a poo-poo bus. A poo-poo bus. A poo-poo bus.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
All right, if you missed the keyword for this hour for Ticket Blitz Thursday for Riot Fest 3-day passes. I almost said 4-day. I'm thinking my brain's still half on Lollapalooza, but they packed 8 days into 3 days with the schedule of Riot Fest, the greatest festival in America, actually the world at this point. So we'll have that word again here in just a few minutes. We're going to talk about this story first. At the end of the story, I'll make sure I give you the word. So hang tight here. The keyword this hour with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Now, I played this short piece of audio joking. It was Kenzie being arrested. We're gonna break down this story here for a little bit, play the entire audio from Fox 6 in Milwaukee. So this took place, the arrest of this woman in Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, which for reference point, because the end of the story, there's something so funny in here about Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, and where this woman was arrested. Okay, Kenzie? Kenzie hasn't heard this. She doesn't know what I'm about to say because I wanted to play that audio saying it was her getting arrested. And it was not her getting arrested. It was just this woman getting arrested. I'm going to play the whole story here from Fox 6 as we break it down.
Yeah, Ted, it only got stranger from there. Police clocked the woman going 60 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone here.
Okay, before I continue, Kenzie, she was going 60 and a 30.
Does that sound familiar?
How do you feel about that?
I feel like, I get it.
All right, we'll keep going here.
On Lake Drive 2 weeks ago, police tried stopping her. They say she fled, then flipped them off. And
Does that ring a bell?
That's ballsy. The middle finger, once you get caught, is ballsy.
There's going to be whole audio of that video exchange when she flips him off and then goes to the police station at 1:30 in the morning.
Them off, and when they took her back to the police station, well, you just have to see for yourself.
Now, first, it's the police officer pulling her over before the police station. That's what's going on right now.
Along Lake Drive in Whitefish Bay, a traffic stop that starts off like any other, quickly goes off the rail.
They're taking off southbound to Lake.
Whitefish Bay police try pulling over 35-year-old Mallory Griffin for going 30 above the speed limit.
Roll down your window and place your hands outside the car with the keys in your hand.
The Illinois woman ignores repeated commands.
Put your hands out the window.
Only to do this.
She's just laughing in the car and just flipped me off.
Oh, my God. No, we have any memories, Kenzie? Nothing?
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, I got listen. This cop had some patience here. This
cop was very nice.
Yeah.
I wish I had that cop.
and you've got someone that's obviously driving intoxicated, which is dangerous and terrible. We're not joking about that, but the situation this cop was in was unbelievable.
Dashcam video shows Griffin taking off again, stopping just down the street where more officers are waiting.
Put your hands out the window and shut out the car.
She's taken into custody.
If you run, I'm going to tase you.
See, telling you politely, I'm going to tase you if you don't calm down.
Laughing at officers, even when she's put in the back of the squad.
This is so unsafe.
When she's taken back to the police station, an officer asks the 35-year-old if she has any bruises. And this is her response.
Do you want to see it? Do you want me to get undressed?
Keep your hands up.
She pulled her pants down. She had yoga pants on in the video, and right in the police station he goes, because he said, do you have any bruises? They were trying to mark things if something happens to you in the police station. And she dropped her yoga pants down there to the officer. And then
Did she have a bruise there?
I didn't see because it was blurred. Sadly,
Dang it.
sadly, the news report blurred
We
it.
have to get the uncensored version.
Yeah, I'll be getting a hold of Fox 6 after the show.
Hand over the tapes now.
I love the female officer again says, put your pants up.
Do you want to see it? Do you want me to get undressed?
Keep your hands up.
She sounds like, first off, she sounds like she's talking to her toddler.
She does.
No, that's like how I feel. Like, come on.
It's 1:30 in the morning in Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, and this is what she has to deal with.
Oh, my God. Was this girl drunk?
It turns out they don't know because I guess it wasn't an alcohol. Later in the thing, they did say she was on something. They just don't know what because they didn't. I don't have any toxicology reports just yet. Again, I'll be calling Fox 6 to get the information on that and, of course, the uncensored video that they blurred out on the TV. All right, so it continues.
Before a sobriety test, Griffin does what appear to be yoga poses.
Can you do what I can do? Can you do this in your car? And I haven't worked out in 3 years.
So she starts doing yoga poses in her yoga pants that you just dropped and then pulled up, saying, I haven't worked out in 3 years. Can you do this?
And to be clear, the move that she's doing is when you stand on one foot and then put your other foot like on the inside of your leg. It's not an advanced maneuver by any means.
Well, can you do it?
It's like,
Can I do it? F you, Brian. Can I do it? I'm doing it right now.
that's what we're going to do in the Q Olympics today. Who can do it the longest?
We should make that the Q Olympic event today.
Yes, we should. Can you do this?
What is
it
that?
reminds me of that skill. Like, look what I can do. Remember him?
Oh, man, it continues.
Police determined she was under the influence of something. A wild night that is no laughing matter.
Just a couple of things to remember.
Okay. So here's the end part of the report, Kenzie, that I found hilarious. So it's the female reporter on site, and then there's a male reporter back in the studio. I think his name was Ted, the guy back in the studio.
And Whitefish Bay police tell us that Illinois woman was given municipal citations for operating while intoxicated, resisting speeding, and not having a registered vehicle.
Okay, now this is the part that I don't know why. Maybe it's just me being weird and curious why I found this end of the report so funny.
Reporting live in Whitefish Bay, Ashley Sears, Fox 6 News.
She's from Chicago's North Shore. Do we have any idea why she was on Milwaukee's North Shore?
Now, this reporter, this Walter Cronkite of Milwaukee, said she's from Chicago's North Shore. Any idea why she was in Milwaukee's North Shore? It's only an hour away. He made it sound like she's from Ukraine. Why is she in Milwaukee's North Shore? Maybe this is me being just weird. I laughed about that for 10 minutes this morning at 4 in the morning.
Because he doesn't water over there. It's just like, what exactly is enticing her here Just so we as a community know.
Sometimes reporters, listen, I'm sure he's a fine reporter, but I think sometimes they just want to say something to kind of close it up. And he said, why was she here? It's literally not even an hour from the North Shore of Chicago.
It could literally
to
be her
Milwaukee.
commute.
Yeah, he's questioning it like she's from Wuhan. That's the problem.
Did she start the COVID virus?
She's a smuggler, you see.
It was
she
like
smuggles from Chicago to Milwaukee.
It was like a 9/11 interrogation. And then her answer, she just goes like this, the reporter on site.
No, it's unclear why she was in this area or how she ended up on Lake Drive here.
Probably via car.
By car.
No, we know how she got here.
We clearly know how she got here. Oh, man.
She got there rather quickly. I mean, I know it's an hour away, but when you're hitting those speeds, a little faster.
I mean, this is certainly one for the record book. Someone from the North Shore of Chicago ended up on the North Shore of Milwaukee. How did that happen? Good Lord.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Okay, so you have about 11 minutes left to text SMASH to 312-591-8300 for Ticket Blitz Thursday for the Riot Fest 3-day passes. If you haven't done it yet, plenty of time. At 9, we'll give you a new keyword. So another one's coming up, and you can keep entering until you win. Don't stop. Just keep going. You can do it. Now, the Q Olympics are coming up before that. In a couple minutes, we're going to play the Ataris here, and then Gil wants to do his headlines. After that, we're going to do, as today's Q Olympics, that yoga pose that the drunk girl did in the police station right after she pulled her yoga pants down. Pulled them up. So it's the one where you put your one foot up on your other knee, and then you hold your hands like you're praying. What's that called, Kenzie?
It's like a tree or something, isn't it?
Is it a tree pose?
I think it's tree pose.
Huh.
It is a tree pose.
Right?
Okay, tree pose.
Oh, is that just my slang for it? I'm pretty sure it's tree.
Now, this girl had bragged about how she hadn't worked out in 3 years. Can you do this? And she did it, but she didn't.
We're gonna find out, baby.
I haven't worked out in 3 years either.
Exactly.
So we're about to find out. And I don't know if she even, she didn't last very long. Yeah, it's called the tree pose.
Yes.
All right, we'll try that and see how long we can hold
now,
it.
should we do our hands? You can do tree pose in 2 different ways. Do you want to put your hands above your head or in front of your chest?
Probably above is harder, right?
Right. We should knock people out as fast as possible.
All right, we'll do above the head then.
Okay.
It's like praying above your head. You know what I mean?
Can we try to do a segment while we're in the tree pose? I feel like that's the real challenge there is can we do a segment or do we have to stand still and commentate each other doing the tree pose?
We'll talk about the golden ticket while we do the tree pose.
I love it.
I know, but will Brian have to push any buttons? Because then his hands come out of tree.
No, he'll be okay.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Thank you for your concern. He'll be okay.
I'm just saying.
I'll adjust everything where I don't have to touch anything.
Okay.
And here's Gil Curtis with your headlines. That's coming up in 3 minutes.
This is not headline news. Today is National Pickleball Day, also known as National White People Got Tired of Disc Golf Day. Journey is now canceling tour dates now that Neil Sean and Jonathan Cain are feuding again. I hate to say it, Journey fans, but it might be time to stop believing. Marilyn Manson released a new single. The cool thing about being a goth rocker at his age, he doesn't need much makeup to look dead. And the nominations for the MTV Music Video Awards were announced. Videos so great, the network doesn't actually air them. This is not headline news.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.